Vince McMahon says WWE stagnated before the UFC merger. Plus, a top AEW star was injured at the Ring of Honor tapings, and a big title match has been added to NXT No Mercy. It's all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. Every time I say No Mercy, I just want to go diggity
do.
And then
so good.
And then spin the stick right to steal my opponent's taunts.
Yeah. What a game, by the way. No Mercy. Some games just don't recapture that spirit just as well as they should.
Absolutely not like No Mercy. And Vince had no mercy for everybody in WWE HQ. Fightful Select reporting that Vince, along with Ari Manuel, Triple H, Nick Khan, and Executive Chairman Brad Bloom, had a staff meeting in Stamford yesterday. Some of the noteworthy things from that meeting include a comment made by Vince McMahon, Fraser, that got eyes rolling.
Yeah, so first of all, he called Ari Manuel his boss, which is really weird for Vince McMahon to have a boss. He's been the top guy in the industry for a very, very long time.
Does Vince know what a boss does?
I don't think he does. I don't think Vince is going to feel comfortable with that one. But the phrase that he used was plateaued or stagnated. It's talking about how the WWE over the past, I guess for a wee while, has plateaued or stagnated, and he thinks that this move to form a new company with UFC is the right move to get away from that stagnation, and it would take WWE to the next level. Gained a lot of eye rolls backstage and at the meeting. It's a very weird phrase to use considering WWE has been on all cylinders, firing on all cylinders. It's had one of its best years, I would say, both creatively and economically. You know, it seems every pay-per-view now, or premium live event, Triple H sits down and goes, yeah, we broke this record, this record, this record, this record. This SmackDown was the most watched. This one was the most attended. It's very strange to use the word stagnation.
Well, it kind of feeds into a bit of rhetoric that people have within WWE HQ that basically Vince McMahon struck this deal with TKO Group Holdings so he could return to the company. It wasn't so much, the general consensus is he doesn't believe that the company stagnated, but he needed an excuse to return to the board and go, we need to push this sale through. He just wanted to come back, and then that's kind of how the pieces have fallen. And so for many, it reaffirmed that idea that Vince has done this deal just so he can get back in the books.
Pretty much, you know, he was away for, July last year he retired, and then was back by January, really.
That's a long retirement for a wrestler.
That's a very long retirement. Ric Flair has nothing on that one.
Other thing they said during this as well was obviously, so basically the meeting was mainly led by Vince McMahon and Ari Manuel.
His boss.
His boss, which is weird saying Vince has a boss. Ari Manuel spoke about the long relationship that he has with WWE. He says he looked to Vince McMahon for help and advice in the past. And when they had that initial meeting and that initial interview, you got the vibe that Ari was very much in awe of Vince McMahon, had a lot of love and respect for Vince McMahon.
It was kind of weird because when you think of a merger and you think, oh, Vince is going to be bought into this company, you would expect it to maybe be a bit more corporate, but they did feel like good friends, which, you know, it's big business, so there's obviously they're trying to put up a facade as well, being like, look how strong our new company is. But yeah, it seems to be quite close, and we know that recently he said that he'd, you know, defer to Vince on all WWE matters. So clearly, although he's got a boss, Vince is still the boss.
He talked about how close that relationship was. He added that his daughter Ashley had been working for WWE as a creative assistant. So Ashley Emmanuel, the daughter of Ari, has been with WWE. Now, she's been with WWE since before the merger. So I think people kind of half read the story and went, oh, he's put his daughter in.
Nepo baby. No.
Do you know what? If there is something I can't stand more, it's nepotism in my WWE. There's no place for nepotism in WWE.
Definitely not.
But that's not the case. So she was hired before the merger even took place as a creative assistant. They also addressed the cuts that took place just the other week, saying they were unfortunate but had to happen. I think it's one of them where WWE HQ, Titan Towers, was braced for cuts. Because, you know, this is what happens when these companies come together. They call them synergy. Yeah, we call them layoffs.
It's going, we've got people in this role, we don't need them anymore. But it always stings when you see these cuts, especially when they go, look, we're making so much money. We're going to be so successful. See you later.
Yeah, the last thing you want to hear when you're being laid off is, but look how much money we've made.
Yeah, look who we've just signed to a big money deal.
Couldn't give a damn. You've just sacked me. Couldn't give a damn. So that's some of the going on behind the scenes. We're expecting there'll be no doubt more conversations and more synergy and more changes to come as the TKO Group Holdings merger gets well and truly underway. Let's hop over to AEW. An injury to a top star over the weekend.
So last Saturday, the Ring of Honor, Vikingo teamed with Metalik and Gravity against Serpentico, Angelico, and Tony Nese. During the match, Vikingo took a dive to the outside, and it's not good when you get an injury, but when you're diving to the outside, it's always a little bit high risk. And Vikingo suffered a hip injury that left him in a wheelchair for the remainder of the night. But Dave Meltzer has given an update and said he got hurt on Saturday night, and it's a hip injury. He got a title match in Mexico on Saturday against Commander, and the last I heard last night is that he's not 100% that he won't be doing it, although it's probable. They're holding out hope. He was talking like, I'm going to try and rehab all week and see, but there's no guarantee he will be wrestling on Saturday.
So we may not see Vikingo in action for a little while. If depending on how well this rehabilitation goes, it'd be great to see him back on his feet by Saturday. But I think maybe the wheelchair thing, whilst it sounds quite dramatic, I guess it's a case of going, right, as soon as he's had that injury, the rehab begins now.
Yes.
So let's get him off his feet. Let's get him.
Let him
resting
rest up. Dave Meltzer did say that he could be out for a little while, but he didn't break his hip. But it was a pretty serious injury. Him saying it's a pretty serious injury makes it seem very doubtful that he will be back in the ring for this Saturday for the title match against Commander. But you never know. Wrestling has some really freaky recovery times. Like, they're superhumans like John Cena that recover from a torn pectoral within like months. It's crazy. So hopefully Vikingo gets back to the ring soon.
On the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy podcast, Matt was talking about AEW All In from Wembley. He said he and Jeff had apparently been considered for a match at Wembley. Matt said the plan was going to see him and Jeff teaming with Paul White to take on Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh. He said the reason it didn't happen was because Jeff had issues getting a visa. Legal troubles as of late meant that Jeff couldn't leave the country, so the match was shelved.
It's a shame because obviously the Hardys would get a massive, massive pop in Wembley. I think no matter what, even if they can't quite perform at the level they did 15, 20 years ago, the crowd would have exploded for them, really. And it's the Hardy Boys. Who wouldn't want to see the Hardy Boys team with Big Show against Satnam? That's what I want to see in All In next year. So get your legal issues sorted, Jeff.
Well, we got Grado instead.
Did we? Who?
Shut up. That's your cousin you're talking about. Grado!
We did get Grado instead, which was a good replacement. I wonder if we'll see the Hardys next year on All In if they can manage to get it sorted, because they're a big act for AEW.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if they weren't there. Last night NXT No Mercy shaped up. I think that we've seen the announcement of the match that may very well main event the whole show.
Should do.
What tell us about it, Fraser?
So following multiple sneak attacks and several brawls on last night's NXT, Tiffany Stratton will get her rematch against Becky Lynch for the NXT Women's Championship. And it's going to be an Extreme Rules match. No Mercy is shaping up to be quite a stacked card, honestly. NXT's been knocking it out of the park with these specials and premium live events. But Lynch and Lyra Valkyria defeated Kiana James and Tiffany Stratton on last night's NXT in a tag team match. But post-match, Stratton laid Lynch out with a steel chair, which it wasn't the best steel chair shots.
No,
which makes me a little bit worried for an Extreme Rules match, but it'll be fine. Tiffany Stratton is incredible, and I'm glad to see she's getting a rematch so soon. That this is this feud with Becky has really helped her overness, and I think it's really moved her to that next level. So hopefully she'll get that title match or that title back, or move to the main roster.
We will find out at No Mercy. Also, Baron Corbin faces Bron Breakker, the custody of Von Wagner's skull. NXT Heritage Cup match final. The finals of the NXT International Heritage Tournament take place next week, and it'll be either Butch or Joe Coffey facing Noam Dar. We're getting a TakeOver Blackpool 2 rematch.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
It's exciting. Getting NXT's a hotbed for European talent right now.
Give them time, you cowards. The North American title on the line, Dominic Mysterio against Mustafa Ali, and the NXT title up for grabs, Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov. That should be a good show.
It should be. I feel like we're going to get quite a few title changes. You know, I think we're going to see the women's title switch, and I think we're going to see the NXT championship switch. I think keep the title on Dominic Mysterio though.
Yeah, Dom should always have
that belt forever now. Yeah, so as long as his dad's got the US title, he needs the North American title.
Then
Dom's
merge
the
them.
best.
Then merge them with Hot Wax.
Hot wax.
I don't know. I'm sleepy.
Not had your coffee.
No coffee yet. We'll have more wrestling news though throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.